What's up, YouTube? I was talking about this yesterday a little bit. I just happened to mention what's going on with 3D printing. And literally what I was saying is this technology keeps getting better, right? Not only from the printers, but the resin's getting better. We're getting better materials. Things are getting put together better, right? Lo and behold, I see this ad today for the Onyx One. Let's see what this thing's all about real quick and how it pertains to exactly what I was saying, because the ad that I saw was like, what do you want to print? And it was saying something about like metallic grade resins or whatever. We're going to read through this, see what this is about, because I'm going to tell you right now, as far as I can tell, this looks like a perfect platform to print up ghost guns. And this is what I was talking about yesterday. This is like, you know, the big problem that I see happening in the future with guns and gun control here in the US. These things are coming out. Ghost guns are just going to explode because, I mean, all you do is go get a barrel and then you use this thing to 3D print the whole rest of the gun, right? Even the trigger assembly, you can print out each and every single one of those little pieces. You can get a spring or whatever else you need. You can put it together and it's gonna work. It's going to work, right? The reason I was saying a lot of these people are probably gonna wanna get a barrel is because that is really the wear and tear. That's where the wear and tear goes. When you grab a rifle, right? When you let off a couple shots, a lot of that pressure is building up in the barrel of the gun. That is where the projectile is traveling down that barrel. It is interacting with that barrel. It's building up friction inside of that barrel, especially if that barrel has rifling in it, because that is what puts the spin on the projectile. So, you know, anybody that researches firearms and wants to know what the importance of a barrel is, that's the importance of having a good, expensive barrel. That's where the friction's going to happen. That's where your projectile is actually going to meet your firearm. And even a lot of YouTube gunsmiths and builders will have videos talking about what can you skimp on? When you're building your own firearm, what can you skimp on? Can you buy a cheap trigger? Can you buy a cheap stock? Where should your money be spent? And almost all of these videos that I've seen are going to tell you that you shouldn't skimp on the barrel, because that's where the friction's happening. That is where the rubber meets the road, damn it. So anyway, we have the Onyx One, the F desktop 3D printer, a bulletproof desktop 3D printer designed by engineers for engineers. Engineering what though, right? The Onyx One prints accurate, beautiful, manufacturing grade parts. Manufacturing grade parts. That's the important thing here. A F printer for engineers and designers. The Onyx One brings professional grade reliability, parts quality, and accuracy to the desktop F for form factor. Hit print and get a quality product out every time. Built to last, precise and beautiful. Let's see. Print precise parts with best-in-class surface finish thanks to Onyx. Let's see. Yeah. Extremely versatile microcarbon fiber filled nylon material. That sounds pretty damn sturdy to me. That sounds sturdy enough to, I don't know, be the rail on a gun, to be the furniture on a rifle. Microcarbon fiber filled. Sounds pretty awesome. Do they have a quick little video here? Materials, system details. Yeah, a microcarbon fiber filled nylon filament that destroys traditional extrusion systems. Reliable over thousands of print hours. The machine is built to be easy to operate and maintain. From easy to reach wear components like nozzles and feed tubes to usably focused features like the print bed. I was kind of hoping they would have their advertising video here on Markforged. Because the video made it pretty clear that you were going to be able to print out some pretty crazy stuff. Let's see. May I help you? Yeah, show me your marketing video. Anyway, regardless of whether or not I could find that damn video, this is what I'm talking about, and this is a reality. This is a thing. Like, there's these 3D printers all over the place. People can make ghost guns on these. And forward program. Additive manufacturing. Ooh. Yeah, this is what bothers me, is that in the future, in the very near future, just about any criminal or anybody can print off a ghost gun like this. And they can use it however the hell they want, because there's not going to be any way to track these. There's not going to be any way to serialize these. Honestly, I don't even know what the police department or CSI would really do about a zip gun. Like, really think about this, guys. If I go buy a 9mm from said gun store, right, and if I shoot somebody with it, they're probably going to be able to trace that gun back to me. They're going to be able to take that gun. They're going to be able to match up the markings on the projectile to my barrel, to my gun. Can you even do that with zip guns? Like, can you? You know what I mean? Or after you use a zip gun, can you just stick a screwdriver in the tip of it and make a bunch of marks in there so that the next projectile that gets fired out of there is going to have different marks on it? And even if you could trace a zip gun, you're not, because as soon as somebody uses a zip gun to commit any sort of crime whatsoever, they're going to destroy the shit out of that thing. I'm talking melt it down into a cube of plastic if they can. People aren't as likely to do that with a $2,000 favorite pistol of theirs, right? I mean, I guess you could, but less people are going to want to do that. So less people are going to want to use actual guns to commit crimes. You sure you want to shoot that fool? That's your favorite pistol. Like even if you want to get away with it, you have to get rid of your favorite pistol now. Sorry, I'm not doing it. I'm not. I'd rather hold on to my favorite piece. Somebody can get their ass beat instead. You know what I mean? This all changes with zip guns. This all changes with these ghost guns. And when I say zip guns, most of you are familiar with what a zip gun looks like. They're not the same anymore. Go search zip guns and other 3D printed weapons, because they're printing straight up carbines, right? It's not a zip gun anymore where you're going to get 4 or 5 shots out of this thing and, you know, blah. Now there is these zip guns with extended magazines, and now there is carbine versions of these zip guns. There's still a zip gun. It's a bigger file to print, but you are now getting more accuracy, more reliability. You're getting like a longer barrel to shoot through on one of these carbine setups. You're just getting a more formidable weapon, and you're still getting it out of a 3D printer. And that's only going to scale up and up and up and up. And like I said in my other vid, the only deterrent that someone like me has against some fool printing up a $10 zip gun and trying to use it to rob me, my family, whatever, is he might have a real gun to my zip gun. That's the only thing that I got going for me right now, is if some fools pull out some zip guns and try to run up on me, I have a real gun. Mine is going to shoot better, further, more accurate. I'm going to have more rounds. It's going to be easier to use. I'm at a clear advantage. Matter of fact, I'm willing to bet that if a couple fools pulled out zip guns on me and I pulled out my real gun, they would probably run on the spot before it actually even turned into some sort of shootout. Like, you would literally hear them be like, oh shit, he got the real thing, go, go. That's how it would go. So that's what I got going for me now. That's what every lawful gun owner in America has going for them now. They have a real gun that a real blacksmith made somewhere, or a real company made that produces these things. And they're going to work, and they're going to be reliable. They're going to be a lot more reliable with a zip gun, right? But if you're not armed at all and somebody has a zip gun and they're using it to rob you, what are you going to do? Well, it's a zip gun. Well, there's a 10% chance it might not fire. Do you really want to take that chance with your life? Because that's the chance you're going to be taking if you're not armed and your attacker, your assailant, your robber has a zip gun pointed at you. Yeah, there's a small chance that it'll misfire and it won't work. Are you going to bet your whole effing life on it? Right? No, you're not, unless you're armed with an actual gun that's not going to fail. So that's the problem that I see with this, and I think a lot of people are really just kind of sleeping on this whole ghost gun thing. The only way to protect law-abiding Americans from ghost guns and zip guns is, I hate to say it, but the possibility of them being armed themselves with a real gun, right? And like I said, 3D printing is going to get better and better and better. And these ghost guns, these zip guns, are slowly going to start catching up to real production firearms, right? So this is just the way that I'm looking at it. Now, if I'm wrong about this, leave me a comment. Let me know. Tell me I'm tripping, right? But this is the way that I'm looking at this whole thing. And I was into the Warhammer hobby. I've been into 3D printing. I know how it works, and I've seen these zip guns come out of nowhere, and it was kind of interesting to look at them at first, but then when you start to realize what people are doing with these and how it can pertain to you, you start to worry a little bit if you're me, right? Now, there are people making legitimate knockoffs of guns. There's shops in Mexico and some of the poorer countries in the world where there's just a bunch of dudes sitting around on the floor chiseling metal parts, and it takes a whole room full of people, right? It takes a whole room full of people a whole day or something to make a Glock clone, right? And that Glock clone is probably not going to be as reliable as an actual real Glock, right? And now it's going to be cheaper than a Glock, right? But it's not going to be anywhere near as cheap as a zip gun. And a zip gun's going to be so much easier to get. You can spend a couple $100 on a 3D printer and then make all of them you want. If you want an actual carbon copy of a Glock made from some sweatshop where it's not going to be, 3D printed plastic or whatever, where you're getting a steel pistol that, a room full of people took 2 weeks to craft and chisel out of nothing. you're still going to pay probably $100 or at least $200. It's not going to be the cheapest gun in the world. And because it was made by a bunch of people sitting on the floor and whatnot, it might work. It might half-ass work. You would be extremely lucky to get anything even close to as reliable as something like what Ruger makes, you know, or Smith & Wesson or Sig Sauer. You're not going to come close to what Sig makes. You know, from some of these secondhand guns from some of these places where there's just like backyard gunsmiths making these things to sell on the black market. So you can't really compare zip guns to that. It's a whole completely different thing, right? If you wanted to make one of those guns, it's typically like a family business. Like you learn from your daddy who learned from his daddy how to make these parts and how to clone a Glock, right? And most families aren't going to have access to this knowledge passed down from generations. But anybody in any family can go spend a couple $100s on a 3D printer and read the manual. And by the end of that day, they'll already have a couple zip guns printed out, is what I'm saying. So I think this is a big deal. And this is something that everybody needs to factor in. With everything that's going on right now with the legislation, with the ATF trying to crack down on a bunch of bullshit. Yo, we got like actual real problems to worry about with ghost guns, which are currently blowing up. They are blowing up right now already, right? And it's just begun. And like I said, hate to reiterate, I feel like the only real thing that I have as a deterrent to a ghost gun is my Sig Sauer real gun, you know? And that's something you also have to pay for too, you know? Like, go get a Sig Sauer. You'll be lucky if you can get one for under $1,000 if you're talking about like one of the premium ones. I mean, that's what it's going to cost to defend yourself. And if you do that, I would expect you to have every advantage in the world over a zip gun, which might be your only saving grace if you ever come up against one. And I hate to say it, but it's usually not going to be one. It's usually going to be a few people with these things. So yeah, I have been to Flint recently, and I have seen hood pirates. And some of you might ask, what the hell are hood pirates? Oh man, hood pirates are scary. You will be going through some of just the smallest little hood streets in Flint. And you'll be going through these neighborhoods, and there won't be any road signs because they rip them all off, so the cops can't find their ways into these hoods. When they're chasing somebody through the hood, they don't know which street they're on, so their radio doesn't work. I don't know which way he went. I don't know what street he's on. And this is real. They do this. Well, these parts can get dangerous. You will see a whole group of people in a stolen car riding around with masks on and bandanas on their face. And when you see these people, you better fucking run. Because they're going to try to come after you. They're going to try to literally ram you off the road with their stolen car. And they're going to try to rob you at gunpoint. And the reason I bring this up is because the last time I saw some hood pirates in Flint, clear as fucking day, I saw zip guns in 2 of their hands. I saw them. I was like, holy shit, those are zip guns. And my old lady at the time was like, why do they have bandanas on there? I was like, bitch, you need to go the other way. We need to get the fuck out of here. You want to ask them, you want to find out why they have bandanas on their face. They literally look like they're riding out to go carry out a hit or to rob somebody. Or like I said, for all we know, they're just driving around in a stolen car waiting to drive up to somebody else so they can ram them off the road and rob them. And this shit is real. This shit happens. Like, these guys were not just driving around with this car with no license plate on it and masks over their face. They weren't doing this shit just to be cool. These things happen. Like, it's happening in Flint right now. I guarantee I could get in my car right now and I could go find some hood pirates. You just got to know where to look. I can go drive down those streets. I bet you if I spent at least a few hours driving down those streets recording, I guarantee you I could spot some hood pirates and they would match that description. They would be in some little hoopty. There'd be no license plate on it. They would all have masks and do-rags on over their faces, and they would be openly strapped. So word to the wise, if you ever see a bunch of people in a car with masks on, or if you see a car and there's no license plate on, you get the fuck away from that car. Drive the other way. The best thing you can do is get to a main road, because they're only going to rob people in this little hood area. If you can get to a main road, maybe there's some cameras out there. They don't want to go out to the main roads. They want to drive around in these little neighborhoods where everybody's lost, where you can't find your way, and there's no road signs, and they want to jack people there. So, just word to the wise, you ever see hood pirates driving around looking for booty, take your ass out to a main road and do not stop. Like, I told my girl, run stop signs, whatever. I will take the ticket and pay for it. Don't even let them get close. And luckily for me, we got away. I have seen them. I've ran into hood pirates like a few times, just driving through the hood in Flint. I've seen them turn onto a road. We were going the other way, and I've seen them pull a U-turn behind us. And I was like, no, go, bitch, go. We got to get out to a main road now. I have seen them driving around, and you can see them like 2 streets over through houses. And I'm like, no, we got to turn around here, make a left. So this shit's real. These people exist. They're out there trying to target people. And yeah, I've seen zip guns in their fucking hands. So this shit is happening in the hood. I wouldn't want to get targeted and be, you know, the victim of these damn zip guns, especially with how easy they are to make now. Just think about this. 10 years ago, these hood pirates, if they didn't have guns and they didn't have the resources to get them, they'd have to run you off the road and try to rob you with a knife. Do you know how much easier it is now that they have a fucking zip gun that actually fires projectiles? It might not be the most accurate thing in the world, but think about how much easier it makes that for them to rob you now. They don't actually have to go up to you and put that knife up to your throat. They can stand 10, 15 feet away from you and point those zip guns at you. They'll point them right under your window, and they're going to steal everything you have, and they're going to take your car. And then for the rest of the day, they're going to use your stolen car to go rob more people. So that's why I'm talking about this. The shit is real, and I actually see it in the streets. Luckily for me, I don't live anywhere near Flint anymore. I'm far, far away, and I'm pretty damn happy over here. But for everybody else that has to go through an area like that, or just be around a dangerous part of the map like that, just be careful and just know that, like, zip guns are a real thing, right? Anyway, so I wanted to record this because I was literally talking about this a couple days ago about 3D printing, and bam, they just drop an ad for this 3D printer that looks like it would be, well, a pretty good 3D printer to print some ghost guns on. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just saying, it's what other people are going to be doing. And again, if you want to defend yourself, a zip gun is not the way to go. Do not trust your life in the hands of a zip gun. Save your money up, save $500-600, and go get yourself a real pistol. SIG P365, they're like $500. And that is something you can trust your life to. And then, yeah, go get your CPL. Go get your concealed pistol license. You know, and feel that much safer knowing that you actually have a real firearm to defend yourself against hood pirates that are using plastic zip guns. You'll be able to sleep better at night. I know I sure as hell do. Anyway, if I missed anything or if I'm wrong about anything, please leave me a comment. And as always, have an awesome day.